Okay, you have an assignment to create a flyer using drawio. So this tutorial, this video, is to go over, demonstrate how to use drawio to create a flyer. In this particular assignment, you have to use a mixture of graphics and text and the way you lay things out to create a flyer that would introduce you to a new person and tell that person whatever you want them to know about you. All right? You need to make good, smart choices about the way you design it, about the choice of fonts and the graphics you use, and so on. Okay? So you were to create a graphic logo for your flyer. You need to have a text box on your flyer that says what grade you're in, St. Anne's School, and your school email address. It must incorporate a photo of yourself where you removed the green screen or the background. Okay? And it has to include at least 3 traits or qualities that best describe you. Examples would be honest or funny or shy or that you have a beautiful smile, things like that. Must also include at least 3 things you're really good at or that you love to do. So whether that's you're really good at writing papers, or you're really good at writing short stories, or you're really good at doing science, or you love science, those kinds of things. At least 3 of those. And you need to make sure, again, to make really good choices that help convey the message that you want with your flyer. All right, so how do we get started? You should have an app called draw.io installed in your Chrome app. So I'm going to start a new tab and go to my apps and just see if I have it. I do, it's right there. Okay, so look through your apps and click on it if it's there. All right, now if it's not there, you could, let's say that I didn't find it in my apps, you could just type in your address bar draw.io and it will take you basically to the same thing and get you all prepared the same way as clicking on the app in the apps folder. Okay, so here I am, I'm at draw.io. I'm going to create a new diagram. And by the way, the first time you do this, it will ask you where you want to store your files, and you should choose Google Drive, and then it will ask you to authorize your account, and you have to authorize the connection between draw.io and your account, and then you'll get to this part. So let's give it a good name, personal flyer, and blank diagram, and create. All right, so here's my flyer canvas. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper by default, and I can tell that by going to File and then Page Setup, and you can see the paper size is 8.5 by 11 US letter, and it's in portrait mode. Okay, that's what I want, so cancel. And I can't see the whole page. If I wanted to, I could zoom out a bit, maybe to fit window, or let's see, fit page. Fit page will show me the whole page. All right. So right now I just have a blank piece of paper. How do I get my graphics in there? I can just take them right out of my file browser. Now you probably have yours in your Google Drive right now. So if your photos are saved, your graphics are saved in your Google Drive, just go into your Google Drive. Find them. Okay. I'm going to use this one for my photo that I did a background effect with. And here's my personal logo SVG file. So I'm just going to download those. And click download on that, and you can see it's downloading right there. And then I'll do the same for the picture of myself and Darth Vader. And they're right down here. I'll go back to my personal flyer window, and I probably can do it just right from the bar. See? And just drag them and drop them right onto the canvas. If you get asked this, you probably want to do a resize. If you do actual size, sometimes photos are too big and they'll refuse to import unless you do a resize. Okay. All right. And remember, you can shift and resize them Click that Shift key, drag on a corner. That will keep everything in the right proportion. Right? And I can just move it around the canvas however I want. I could put one on top of the other. Now, right now, my photo is on top of my logo. That's why my logo is partially covered up. But I can right-click and say, send the photo to the back. And then my logo will pop up because it's over the top of my flyer. And maybe, now that's taking up a whole bunch of my flyer. I don't want it to be that big. Maybe I do something like that. Okay. Now I can make my text box. I'm doing this real quick and not paying too much attention to how I'm designing. I'm just showing you how to use the tools. So you need to really focus on design as well as getting everything on there. So I need to create a text box. So here's the text box tool. There's another one that's a text box also called heading that may be a good one to use. I'm going to use the text box and just drag it and drop it right there. And you see that right now it's really small. You can resize it. You can double click and it will highlight, and you can type whatever you need to in. So my requirements for one of my text box were to say my class grade level. So for me, that I'd just put computer teacher, and then St. Anne's School and my email address. So computer teacher, enter St. Anne's School, and pbennett@stanneslodi.org. All right, now it's tiny. I realize that. So I'm going to click on the text box, and then over here I can change the way the text box looks. One of the things I can change is the size of the type. So I'm going to click on the text attribute tab, and I can choose what font I want it to be in. So let's say I want it to be in Times New Roman, and I can choose to make it a much bigger size. Okay, and I can resize the box as needed and shift it around to wherever I want. I can make the type bold. I can underline it. I can do italics. I can make the type align to the left or to the right or in the center. Okay, I think I'm going to do mine to the left. I don't want bold. Yeah, I do want bold, but I don't want italics. You can also choose whether the text is aligned to the top of the box, or the bottom of the box, or the middle of the box. I'm going to do the top, and then I can get that real tight up against whatever object I might want to. And there we go. So there's that text box. Now, if I wanted to, I could also decorate the text box. I could give it a background color. Right now the background color is white. I could make the background color orange, say. I could, let's not make it orange because I have that green in my logo, so maybe I'll try to match that green. Okay. Or maybe I want to make my font that green and my background black so that it looks like it's part of the logo. Font green. Okay, that looks pretty good. I might want to match the font. Maybe I want to change the font. That was probably a Courier font that I used. Alright, and maybe now it's a little too big. So I can do it like that. And I'll get it lined up so it looks like it's part of that logo maybe. Okay. Maybe just shift that around. I can zoom in. I probably need to zoom in just to do a better job aligning things. Alright, yeah, see that? Okay, I can do it like that and call it a day. I can also give it a border. I could make the border have a line around the box. I kind of like that. Background color. I can give it a shadow. If you can see just a little bit of a dark line there, I can make the thickness of the line around the box bigger. I can change the color of the line and the color of the fill. Maybe this is what I should use instead of the background. I should use that fill, and then maybe change that to that green. Okay. And I'll go to my text and turn the background color off and turn the border off. Oh, that looks nice. Now I've got a nice little round thing there. Very nice. I want to make sure that I get my type spaced away from the box a little bit more than that, so I can adjust my spacing however I like. And that's not too bad. Let's see. Where's my font color? I want it to be that green. Okay. That looks pretty good. Alright, and now I'll zoom back out. Alright. Let's go to, where was that page view? Right. Fit page. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. Now I need another box that has 3 traits or qualities. Okay, so I'll start another box. I'm going to make this a heading box and change for now my I'll just call it traits, and I could maybe start a bulleted list of traits. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that. Alright, bulleted list. Funny, smart, and well read. I like to read a lot. Okay, there are my 3 traits. I'm going to leave it as courier new. Don't want it bold. Let's put those. Ooh, no, I don't like how those bullets wind up that way. So we'll leave it over on the left, and top of lines, font color, but let's turn those fonts down. They're too big. Okay, and we can resize that box. Now if I go over here, maybe I want to give that a comic outline of 2 points. Okay, and I kind of like it when the outlines are rounded. Okay, so that makes it look like that. Another option, sometimes it's nice, is glass. Let's see, which will give it a little bit of an extra style. Okay, so there we go. I want more space between my words and my outlines, so I'm going to go over here and adjust my spacing. Okay, that's pretty good. I think that bubble is still probably too big. And you know what? I can also rotate it if I wanted to. So it could be kind of oddball. And let's see, we'll go back to the page view. So let's see, I want it kind of like that. Alright, now another box that has to have 3 things I'm really good at or love to do. Alright, so I'll put another heading box, and I'll put what I love. Alright, and I'll delete all that gibberish that was there. And I'll put, okay, another bullet point, and I'll put programming, film making, whoops, misspelled it, making, and movies. Okay, and go to our text tab. Turn the size of what size did I use here? I used 28 point, so let's replicate that. We'll use 28 point on this one also, and I will give it that rounded glass outline. Okay, so I had on this one a line of 2 points, rounded glass shadow comic. So rounded glass shadow comic, 2 points. Alright, so they match. I just need to shrink it down. Remember to get that spacing so that the text isn't right up against the borders. Seems like, yeah, maybe like that. And I think it would look good if I rotate this one the opposite direction and move it over in here. So like everything is kind of tumbling. And I could even overlap them a bit so that it plays up that effect if I wanted. See how it looks. Make that a little smaller, maybe move it down here. And voila. It's getting close to what I want. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's how you use draw.io to make a flyer. Okay, when you're done with it, make sure you export it. It automatically saves. Right here I have a message that says unsaved changes, click here to save. So if you see that, you definitely need to do that. But if everything's set up correctly, it should say last save 30 seconds ago or something like that, and it will automatically save. So mine downloaded, and I could just drag that up into my Google Docs or my Google Drive to back it up. And when I want to get it done and hand it in, I would just go File, Export as PNG, and hit Export. I can save it to my Google Drive and say use the root folder, authorize. Okay, now there's something going on with my account where that's not working, so instead I'm going to download it. See, File, Export as PNG, and I'll just save it to my device. Alright, so there's my PNG, and there we go. There's my flyer. Okay, so that's how to use draw.io to create a file that has a desktop publishing style flyer.